everyone. For those of you who have been with me for all 7 and now 8 presents, you know that I picked these beautiful gifts out for you many weeks ago now. I truly had many gifts in my brain shopping cart, and deciding on only 8, well, it was really a tough decision. But I assure you my criteria remained the same, that each present must somehow enhance your mindful journey once accepted, provide a mindful present pause, not only while you were listening with me, but also later for the week. Involve multiple body senses, because when doing that, we create stronger brain pathways of experience. I wanted the gifts to elicit fun and joy and smiles at times, and at times maybe something that we really had to ponder a little bit more deeply for. And finally, of course, they needed to be timely for the holiday or calendar reflection. So you see, pondering on what the new year 2020 might bring to all of our lives, well, I've been thinking about that way back when, as far as what this gift would be today. And I just really discovered a reoccurring thought that I find true in my own life. Unfortunately, even during the holidays are good times. And I have had numerous intentions over the months to move back and stay away from this as much as possible. So what is this? Arguments, and then arguments leading to quarrels. Now, stay with me. I am not gifting you more arguments and quarrels in your life. That would definitely not be adding to your mindful living. No way. But if I could only provide a gift of slowly but consistently moving away from having arguments and quarreling that totally upsets and derails your mindful journey, hands on my heart, wow, what a precious present that would be. Now, say I just said precious. So it would only be precious, but it would be a precious presence present. Now, there's a mouthful to end our gifting season. You know, it's one thing to stick up for yourself and others, but it's a different matter, my friends, to get caught up in wrangles and contentiousness and squabbles. In other words, like quarrels. Similarly, it's one thing to disagree with someone, even to the point of arguing. But it's a different matter altogether to get so caught up in your position that you lose sight totally of the bigger picture, including your relationship with the other person. And sometimes you don't even remember what started this whole mess. See, then I would say you're quarreling. Arguments that lead to quarrels, well, they happen both out in the open between people, but also inside our minds. Like maybe you've made a case in your head about another person, or you keep visiting and revisiting and ruminating on an argument to make your point more forceful. Research shows, are you ready for this sad fact? Research shows that we quarrel most with family and friends. Imagine that, the people that we say and hopefully do love the most, we quarrel with the most. And sadly, many of you ranchers and friends of mine shared with me that over the holidays, the past holidays, it was these nasty, stupid arguments that took a lot of the ho, ho, ho and or sparkle, magic out of their holiday enjoyment. And oftentimes they pondered on what those arguments might have looked like to others, especially to their children. But it's not just individuals Nope. We also argue with people on TV or politicians in groups we don't like in social media. We can even quarrel with conditions in life, such as an illness or tight money, or even with physical objects, like the other day with my windshield snow remover thingy that's really just a piece of, well, you know what I mean by that. I was arguing with the snow remover thingy. Dr. Rick Hansen, who I've mentioned before is one of the teachers that I learned from, I want to read to you what he states about this phenomena. He says, however they happen, quarrels are stressful, activating that ancient fight or flight machinery in your brain and body. Now, a bit of this won't harm you, but a regular diet of quarreling is not good for your long-term physical and mental health. Plus, it eats away like acid on a relationship. Pretty tough stuff and pretty powerful and potent and negative stuff. So that's why I want to be able to help you with this in some way with the last gift. Softening quarrels and even arguments that lead up to that could provide more peace and contentment for the new year. So in my final gift, I've selected and used some of Rick Hansen's work because he has a specialty in this area, and suggesting some ways of how you can move through these arguments, perhaps not have them turn into quarrels, because whether you personally start another quarrel ever again in your life, let's say you could do that, I guarantee, though, in our human condition, you will be engaged in one voluntarily or involuntarily by being drug into it by someone else. Sort of what happened to me during my holidays. So here's 3 things that you can do to help pull away and help be more mindful. First, be mindful of what quarreling really feels like. Like, what does it feel like in your body? What emotions do you have and what thoughts? For example, I can be aware of that sense of revving up, of pushing against something, of, oh yeah, when this starts to rear its ugly little head, my ego, of being right and driving my view home. Well, these really start to become characteristics of quarreling. So you ask yourself, hey, Marcia, does this feel good right now? Is this good for me? When I'm thinking about what Dr. Rick said, I mean, of all the things for your physical and mental health, this is not a good place to be. Number 2, observe the impact that this beginning of arguing into quarreling has in the relationship. Whether you're doing it, instigating it, or others are, including, like I mentioned earlier, on the world stage in social media. So again, ask yourself, Marcia, are the results going to be good from this situation? What would my relationship be like if I don't quarrel with them at all? And number 3, if you sense yourself beginning to warm up, to quarrel, and you've started to think this is not going to be good, and trust me, those thoughts come very quickly, and the more you practice this, the quicker they'll come because they'll become habits. Well, as this begins, step back, and you can physically step back. Sometimes actual motion or movement of our body helps our brain also habituize some of the things we want to do. So step back, slow down, and don't do it. Yeah, just don't do it. Try a different approach. Say only what truly needs to be said, staying calm, staying contained, without, and this is key, without trying to persuade the other person. Don't take their bait. And if it comes to this, if you feel like it's just going to get out of control, let the other person, not you, look all overheated and argumentative and out of sorts. So finally, pause this week and think on this thought. Much of the time, I find that nothing needs to be said at all. I just don't have to engage in this manner with the other person. His or her words can pass by me like a gust of air swirling some leaves along the way. I don't have to be contentious, and my silence does not equal agreement. Now that used to stick me because I used to think, well, if I'm quiet, they'll think I agree with them. No, nor does it mean that the other person has won the point. You see, silence just means it's not about what we're arguing about. It's about the engagement in arguing and in the process of amping up and getting into a quarrel. But you know what? Even if the other person thinks that your silence means that they've won, or maybe they actually have, would it actually matter in the big scheme of things so much in a week, a month, or a year from now? So this is a wrap, and I hope you enjoyed your presence for 2019 into 2020. It was truly fun for me to bring them to you. And just as a final thought here before we say goodbye this week, besides arguing, do you know there's another issue that many of you have shared that really bugs your mindful living and really bugged you the past weeks and many of you have actually, you've placed this issue on the top of your intention or resolution list for 2020. Well, I'm not going to tell you it right now. It's going to be revealed next week, right here in Mindfulness with Marsha. I wonder what that could be. See you then. Be well.